And then we have political parties, we have lobbying, we have think tanks. There are entire multi-billion-dollar think tanks whose sole purpose is to shape public opinion about homosexuality, abortion, church and school, or prayer in school, rather. Corporate lobbying, the military, environmental issues, and many other things. And they do this through advertising, through YouTube channels, through Facebook ad campaigns, through articles on the internet, through blogs, through their own, hiring their own journalists, even developing their own entire news network. I mean, Fox News is basically a propaganda machine of the right wing. It's a multi-billion-dollar propaganda machine. Do they care about truth? Objective reporting? Metaphysics? Epistemology? I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable to even ask these questions. Nobody there cares. Does anybody at CNN care about metaphysics and epistemology? No, they don't care. You see, everybody is so preoccupied with their little local corner in this matrix, just struggling to survive. You know, even like a CNN anchor who earns $10, $20 million a year, he's just struggling to survive at CNN. I guarantee you, he's struggling to survive. Every day he wakes up and he's just struggling to survive. You might think, Leo, that's crazy. These people have so much money and success and fame. They're not struggling. Oh, yes, they are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. The struggle is all the same. In fact, the more money you have, the more fame you have, the more responsibility you have as like a public figure, as a news anchor or something. You know, there's a lot of pressure on these news anchors. They feel it. I'm sure they feel it every single day. It doesn't get easier. It actually gets harder because the stakes are higher. If you had $1 billion, you would be waking up in the morning and worrying about, where do I invest my $1 billion so it's not lost? How do I avoid taxes on this $1 billion? How do I prevent my children from being kidnapped because I have this $1 billion? Now I got to put my children into a private school. I got to get security cameras. I got to hire bodyguards. Because when people find out you got $1 billion, there's a whole new set of challenges that arises. You see, so with the government piece, the government is completely made up of the people who are players in this social matrix. All the people who vote to elect people in the government are people who have been brainwashed by this social matrix completely. It's the teachers, the university professors, the doctors, the scientists, the business people, the marketers, the advertisers. All of them were brainwashed by the system, and all of them now go and vote. And then not only do they vote, but they participate too. They volunteer, or they get elected, they run for office, or they become the judges, they become the police people, they become the military people, they become the intelligence people, they become the tax collectors, they become the regulators, they become the politicians. And then they govern, but what place do they govern from? Are they governing from a place of concern about the epistemology of this whole system? Or the metaphysics? Or caring about truth or love or consciousness? No! They're also just barely struggling to survive as a politician or as a bureaucrat. And they have been so brainwashed through the marketing system, the business system, and all of this, the school system, and by science, they've been so brainwashed by the culture that now the laws and policies they're going to pass are all going to be the kind that reinforces this system. So they will make it such that even to question the system could be made illegal. You could be put in jail just for questioning the system too much. For example, there are laws that have been passed in certain states. I don't know exactly which states. I think in most states, actually, that it's illegal to videotape, to take a video camera into a slaughterhouse in America. That's been made illegal. Isn't that the perfect example of how the social matrix operates? You see, this is the perfect nexus point, the sort of incestuous nexus point between corporations, the food industry, government, lobbying, capitalism, marketing and advertising. All of those things interconnect to lead to this one specific instance of this law that you can't take a video camera into a slaughterhouse. Why not? Because if that video footage gets out and it percolates through this social matrix, then people are going to be horrified at where their food comes from. And then that's going to be bad for business, bad for stockholders, bad for people who invested in those stocks, their retirement savings and so forth. Might cause problems for politicians, because then people will be angry that the politicians aren't doing anything about this and that they're sort of in bed with these corporations, this sorts of stuff. And then even as an individual, even the individuals in the system don't want this because they're going to be disgusted because they don't want to know how the sausage is made. You like your sausage and you don't want to be shown a video on your favorite TV show of how your sausage is made because you enjoy your sausage. And your sausage, by the way, is part of your culture. It's part of your cuisine. You actually have a mythos. The social matrix has developed a mythos in your psyche about the lineage and ancestry of these sausages and how wonderful, your ancestor ate these sausages and it's part of your culture and your heritage, and every Thanksgiving you eat one of these sausages and it's so good and the whole family comes around and eats the same sausage. And now all that is spoiled. These are our traditions which are being spoiled. So of course we're going to pass a law against that. You see how this works?